value is more than just a great price. That's why this segment is brought to you by Pick n Pay.
Welcome back to your Feel Good Morning here with eXpresso, only on SABC3. Now, just before the break, we checked out some awesome school backpacks for kids available at your nearest Pick n Pay. Now, once you go out and buy your bag, it's very important to make sure that it is carried correctly because, believe it or not, carrying it the wrong way could have long-term negative effects on kids. And physiotherapist Andrew Seymour joins us this morning to give us some very, very important advice. Andrew, good morning. Welcome to eXpresso.
Thanks, Ian.
Yeah, man. So, you know what? When I was at school, the last thing I worried about was carrying my bag in any correct way because all I worried was like, how cool do I look carrying my bag?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. I know how you feel.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk a bit about the importance of carrying bags correctly.
Well, I think what we've discovered, and there are studies to back this up, is it's carrying a bag incorrectly or a bag that's too heavy is actually putting a lot of strain on the body, specifically the lower back, the neck and the shoulders. And this can lead to injury or pain in children. Also, obviously, what we're trying to do is encourage good habits so that later on in life, the children are not bearing the repercussions.
Exactly, and I mean, we all know that, kids at school, bags are heavy. I mean, books are heavy, stationery is heavy, so it's very important. Now, if it is carried incorrectly over a long period of time, let's say over your school career or your school, what could be the long-term negative effects?
Well, simply a bag carried incorrectly or a bag that's too heavy is going to put strain on the body, and that's going to lead to potentially muscle spasm. But more over a long period of time with the repetitive strain, you could actually be putting strain on the joints themselves, the lower back and the neck, like I said, or the shoulders. Yeah. And also it can lead to an alteration in the normal S-shaped curve of the spine.
And that's because maybe carrying it over one shoulder with a heavy bag over a period of time.
Yeah, carrying it on one shoulder, you're going to be leaning onto that side. Muscles on the one side are going to be working harder than on the other side, and that's going to create maybe a distortion in this in the shape of the spine that is going to create pain.
All right. Now, on my next point, how would be the correct way of carrying a school bag? I've got a bag here, one of the bags available there.
Well, I think one thing that's really important is obviously to get the correct bag.
Okay.
Now, if you have a look at a bag like this, it's obviously got two straps. So that's going to distribute the load evenly. It's also adjustable. It's got nice padding. Yeah. And it's got compartments so that you can spread the load.
Okay.
So it's one thing to get the correct bag. That's the first thing, and then obviously to use it correctly. I mean, it's common sense. You put the bag on, you use it correctly, and I think that should really take care of most of the issues. Obviously, the bag needs to be the correct size. The bag shouldn't drop below the child's waist, and once the straps are done up quite nice and tightly, the child should feel quite comfortable. Yeah. The bag mustn't be too heavy. That's something that's I think is very important.
That's always a difficult one because I know, like, when I entered matric, high school, part of the, how do you call it, the initiation was to put a brick in your backpack, and you had to walk with that for the first 6 months. I had to walk with a brick, and it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy. Yeah. All right, so make sure it's tight on your back, not having it hanging too low below the waist.
Too low, both shoulders. The kind of cool thing is often to let it sort of hang and sling it over one shoulder. But we've talked about why that's bad. Just talking about the weight, I mean, roughly 10% of the child's body weight.
Okay.
So if you've got a 40 kg child, you're looking at about 4 kilos. And I think you'll find most kids are actually, using a bag that's a lot heavier than that.
Yeah. So there's a note for also the schools going out there not to load the kids' bags too heavily with all those books.
Well, no bricks.
Anyway. Or bricks, no bricks.
Yeah.
All right, so what can parents do from their side to make sure that, the bags are carried correctly and that they are the good weight?
Well, I think they want to encourage, well, first of all, get the right bag, like I said. Make sure that the kids use the bag correctly. Have a look at the weight. And make sure that the weight is not too heavy. Make sure that the distribution of the weight is correct. And then encourage these good habits. Make sure the kid is not walking around with the bag slung too low over one shoulder, or even carrying it for long periods in one hand as well is going to create strain.
You need to
alternate. Yeah, it's all about either not overloading and distributing the load from either side.
And I know also the good thing, the bags at Pick n Pay, they are recognised by the CASA Association, the Chiropractic Association.
So certain bags are going to be endorsed by associations, and generally it's because they've got certain design features. And like I said, with this one, you've got the adjustable straps, you've got the padding. and you've got the compartments to spread the load.
Awesome, awesome. Andrew, thank you so much for joining us this morning and giving us advice. Really appreciate it. So head down to your nearest Pick n Pay. Those bags are available there, and they are supported by CASA, the Chiropractic Association of South Africa. Right now, let's go over to Katlego and the Wynberg Girls Junior Vocal Ensemble. They make amazing sounds. Let's check it out.
Stay with eXpresso and SABC3.